What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be talking about tonight's game between the Chicago Bulls and Oklahoma City Thunder. And if you watched any videos like this or listened to any videos like this, you know that this is my Bulls report. So, tonight was the first game of the Bulls West Coast trip, and going up against a team like the Thunder, of course, you know, no team in the NBA is a pushover. No team is just marked off as a win. Anything can happen in most games. So, you know, I was excited for the Bulls to play in tonight's matchup going against a young, hungry, team like the Thunder, with players, of course, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's having a great start to his season. So without further ado, of course, as the game gets started and gets ramped up, as always, I talk about Bulls slow starts, right? And tonight wasn't the case. The Bulls came out and Vooch hit the first basket of the game. You know, they got ball movement, Ayo with a layup, and the Bulls basically started the game off really, really hot on a 9-0 run. So I'm like, okay, this can be something. Like, the Bulls could run away with this game and rest up for their next matchup, right? So as the game started to go along, the Bulls start the game 8 of 8. And I mean, what more could you ask for, right? But then I noticed something in the first quarter about the game. I noticed how stagnant the offense was, from guys just standing around when Zach has the ball, or guys just standing around when DeRozan had the ball. You know, the one thing about tonight, right, that just lets me, I'm more concerned about this than anything, is when the Bulls go up against smaller teams and they do not give Vucevic the basketball. It's no reason why Vucevic did not have 30 points tonight in the paint alone. The Thunder do not have a legit center. And for the Bulls to not give him paint touches, I'm talking about double-digit paint touches in this game. I mean, he's posting up and guys are looking him off. That's a problem. And you saw that with Vucevic. He started jacking up threes. And I'm just like, bro, go to the basket. Go to the paint. You can make a living down there. There are no centers in the game. Like, go to the paint. But, you know, whatever Billy Donovan had drew up tonight for Vucevic to play at the perimeter, that's where he was basically at, more than likely, in the game. So as the quarter went on, you know, you saw Oklahoma City's bench coming to life and giving them, you know, something to lean on as the course of the game went. And you saw, you know, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting his groove. I believe in the first quarter he did score 12 points. The Bulls just didn't look. But Zach LaVine was aggressive offensively early. But like I said, the offense just didn't look good the entire game. And defense, the guys that on the perimeter, man, have to do so much better. Like, they have to do so much better. I'm not just calling out Ayo. I'm calling out Zach LaVine. I'm calling out DeMar DeRozan. They have to be better on the perimeter. They are letting guys like Josh Giddey go from the three to the paint to dish off, and things like that can't happen. I mean, like I said, this is not the Bulls team from last year. I'm not going to continuously say what they're not doing this year that they were doing last year. You know, you add guys to help. You know, the bench didn't do too much of nothing tonight. You know, I don't think that's no fault of anybody else's besides the bench guys. But the Bulls were down by 2 after the first quarter, you know. And the second quarter, they just like I said, the offense just, it didn't, this game was like weird to me. It's like the Bulls started off great, and then it's like they lost all of that. You know, the NBA is a game of matchups. The NBA is a game of runs. And it just seemed like that the game wasn't favoring the Bulls. It didn't look like it was their pace. It didn't look like, you know, they had control of this game at any point. It just looked like they showed up to OKC and thought they were going to beat this team. You know, it didn't look, I didn't see no sense of like urgency. I didn't see, like, in the first quarter when they were up 9 and OKC called the first initial timeout, that is where when you go up 9, that's the potential for you to go up 12, 15, things like that. And you're supposed to dominate teams when you have them down early. And that was one of the things I didn't see from Chicago. But like I said, offense looked really stagnant and offense looked really stagnant, but the Bulls were able to go on a run. In the game was tied at the half. And at halftime, I was sitting back, I was looking over my notes, I was looking over the stat sheets and things like that. And I'm just like, well, the Bulls bench has to be better, because if you look at Oklahoma City's bench, they were doing a bulk of the scoring for them. And when I looked at the Bulls, I'm like, okay, who can show up? Or Kobe, or maybe Javante, or maybe who is going to be? And I didn't feel any of that by any standard in the third quarter. So in the third quarter, DeRozan looked very frustrated. He looked frustrated because I don't know whether it was the fact that he was missing shots, or the fact that shots weren't falling, or the fact that just things wasn't going his way. You seen it with one. It wasn't a bad foul that he took, but it was a foul, and I just sensed like frustration when I looked at him on the bench. He didn't look like DeRozan. Like, guys, he didn't look like he was in the flow of tonight's game. But Zach LaVine definitely in the third quarter was showing improving. Like I said, the Bulls, they were in this game, but they weren't in the game. I never felt like the Bulls were in the game. And after 3, the Bulls were down 7, but it could have been more. Like I said, guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you had Dort, again, Josh Giddey. You had guys coming up, and showing improvement in tonight's matchup for the Thunder. In the fourth quarter, it was a lot of give and take for Chicago. At one time the Bulls were down. And it looked like the Thunder were going to just pull away. And that wasn't the case. The Bulls did fight. They fought back, did get the game tied late, ended up with the game going into overtime. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did have a chance to win the game in regulation, but ended up missing on I believe a floater. I believe it was. He ended up missing. So in overtime, this is the thing. So in overtime, the Bulls ended up with first possession, and DeMar DeRozan put his stamp on overtime. He basically scored all the Chicago Bulls points in overtime, but the Thunder, they had a little bit more. It was a bad foul from DeRozan in overtime, which caused the Thunder to go up 3. And tonight's matchup, like I said, the Bulls just didn't look like they were in the game. DeRozan tried in overtime, and ultimately it was a lost cause for Chicago tonight, and they ended up losing to the Thunder. But even in the loss, you could take some things away from tonight's matchup, but it's things that I gotta harp on to talk about what I would like to see the Bulls do better. Again, the Bulls did lose tonight 123-119 in overtime. Like I said, the biggest lead for Chicago was 12. But again, man, things like turnovers, 15. Points off of turnovers, you allow 16 points off of turnovers. And when I look at the Bulls, they did give up one 30-point quarter, which was the first. After that, they didn't. But again, like I said, it was things during the game that I would have liked to see more, man. Vucevic has Billy Donovan. If you're out there listening to this, please, 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 as this West Coast trip goes on, give Nikola Vucevic multiple paint touches during a game. He has to touch the ball way more than he do. It's no reason why tonight he did not have 30. Like, it's no reason why tonight it bothered me. Like, just watching the game, it bothered me. Vucevic had 13 and 13. He took 6 shots. He was 6 of 14. He took 7 threes. That's a problem. Zach LaVine was 4 of 11 from 3. He was 9 of 23 for the game. DeRozan was 12 of 27 for the game. Like, but I will say a bright spot was Patrick Williams' defense and his three-point shooting. The Bulls have to be better, man. I know it's a long season, but losing these games and losing in this fashion, you cannot continue to do that. You will find yourself scratching and scraping. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 30 tonight. You know, like I said, Josh Giddey, he did have 10, 13, and 9. But again, the Bulls had an opportunity to win this basketball game. They did. They had an opportunity. They had an opportunity to win this game, but it just wasn't to be true tonight. And this is the first game on the West Coast run. So I'm curious to see what happens in Monday's game versus Utah. Like I said, like Utah is another one of those teams. They have a mixture of young guys and vets, and we'll see how things pan out for them. I actually want to grade tonight's game, and overall, I would give the Bulls a C- for tonight's performance. It wasn't bad, but it was times where, like I said, the offense became stagnant. Guys were standing around. I'm not mad that DeRozan was taking it upon himself to go win the game in overtime. It's just a simple fact that other guys got to get into the flow also. You know, got to get into the flow instead of waiting until the shot clock is down to 5 seconds and jack up turnaround jump shots or fadeaway threes or this or bad possessions, turnovers, and things like that. They got to collectively be in the flow of the basketball game, man. So that's all I got to say about tonight's game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did you guys watch the game? Thunder fans, Chicago Bulls fans, let me know. It's always greatly appreciated when you guys tune in, listen, and watch. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to this channel. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.